Hey guys, this is Nick Bratton of Bratton Sports Performance. A couple years ago, I took you guys through our kneeling exercises, speed exercises. So we go through a top-down kneeling start, but then we also have a bottom-up kneeling start, depending on the athlete, the age, the sport that they go through. And so if you didn't see that video, go back through our speed segment. You'll see that is probably our fourth progression to our speed and agility drills. Today I'm going to take you through a lateral kneeling start. Now this is something that we use fairly often within our agility athletes and typically our older agility athletes, just trying to get them more comfortable with going out of a low position in order to build that strength, build that the force that they're able to apply to come out of that low position, and also to really be able to progress our directional step. So let me get set up and then we'll go through our top-down kneeling start. Okay, so for our lateral kneeling start, the way that I'm going to get set up, very similar to our traditional kneeling starts, we'll typically set up in about a staggered stance. 1 foot forward, the back foot is right behind and out to the side, and then I'm going to drop down into that position. Now, the one key is if I'm driving out to my right, then my back leg or my right foot needs to be forward. So when I set up, my left foot needs to be forward. So when I set up, my left leg is going to be forward. I'm going to drop that back knee straight down. Okay, I'm looking for that 90-90 position within my knees. So chest is up tall, I drop that back knee down. I'm going to start in this position here. So typically, when we go through this for the first time with our athletes, I'm going to have them drop into that position and hold for 10 to 15 seconds just to get used to it at first. In order to be able to apply any type of force, we have to feel strong and secure there. So I'm going to get them used to going through that exercise, getting into the position, holding it for a period of time. This is also where it's important for all of our athletes to go through some semblance of strength training. At this point, when they see this in their program, typically they've been through our strength training program for at least 6 to 8 weeks. And at that point, they've been through split squats, they've been through iso holds, they've done some lunges, and so getting into a split stance is not out of the ordinary for them. So to go through this lateral kneeling start, again, I'm going to have my back foot or my left foot forward. I'm going to drop down into that kneeling position. From here, when I set up, my right hand is going to be forward, left hand is back. I'm going to drive hard off of that front leg or off of my left leg. Now, when I drive out, I talk often to our athletes about when we take this directional step, our directional foot or our stepping foot should be perpendicular to our plant foot or to our push foot and be driving straight out to the side. So what I'm looking for in our athletes is that we drive straight out from that foot that we drove off of in a perpendicular fashion, and also that we apply those speed and those speed drill techniques that we talk about when we go through our initial speed segment. So shoulders forward, knee pulled up, the foot underneath the thigh, eyes on the ground. So I'm going to go through one here. I'll get in my staggered stance. I'm going to drop straight down, chest is up. I'm going to drive off that foot and take that first step out. So again, when I go through this, I'm really focused on that push off of my front foot or my left foot. I'm getting the knee up on that directional step, and then I'm also applying that force into the ground underneath my thigh, and I'm not allowing that foot to land flat. So I'm going to go through another one here, same idea. I'll get set up in that staggered stance, starting with my left foot forward since I'm driving out to my right side, chest up tall, hips down. Right before I go to take off, I'm going to get that lean. Now this is something that we are going to progress into with our athletes. Like we kind of talked about before we went through our drills here, we need to be very aware and able to go through just typical speed drills as far as falling starts and staggered starts and our single leg starts. After we're able to do that, we need to be familiar with the directional step, but we also need to be very familiar with even some of our strength exercises, as we were talking about before with the split squat and lunges and things like that. So when we begin to apply this, we're going to start out with just going through that lateral kneeling start. From there, we're going to incorporate the bottom up kneeling start. And again, that is something that I discussed in our first kneeling acceleration video, which you can go back to and refresh yourself on. Put this in your program, try it out, try it with your athletes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.